If you know anything about Virgin Voyages, you'll know that the nighttime entertainment and the nightlife on board is world class. But that leads a lot of people to believe that Virgin Voyages is just for party people or people that want to stay out all night. Well, actually, Virgin Voyages do an incredible job of making the daytime experience just as fun as the nighttime. So today we're going to look at 6 different ways where you can make your daytimes on board Virgin Voyages just as fun as the evenings. So we're going to look at what activities are available through the day and also what the daytime entertainment looks like as well. I'm David from VV Insider, and we're going to bring together all the information that we have on vvinsider.com about what's available to sailors throughout the day to keep you entertained, and also take a look at the entertainment and the activities that are on the lineup every day for you to enjoy while you're on board. And this is a journey that's going to go from private karaoke rooms, puzzles, trivias, crafts and magic shows, to simply chilling by the pool or having a really relaxed brunch, all the way up to wild tequila fueled games and some incredible happenings events that are not to miss. So come with us as we walk through what a day in the life of a Virgin Voyage sailor looks like. VV Insider is the #1 resource for the latest Virgin Voyages info, guides and news. From picking the perfect cabin to booking dining, or simply just making the most of your voyage and saving money while you do it, vvinsider.com has helped thousands of sailors around the world sail smarter. Support our work by hitting subscribe and stick around to hear how you can get exclusive perks by booking directly with us. So let's kick off with the first topic that I want to discuss. And this is all about the fact that Virgin Voyages is adults only. And what this means is that they can actually trust the passengers with a lot more equipment and entertainment offerings that people can use to keep themselves entertained without worrying that things are going to go missing or get damaged. So let's have a quick look at what options are available to you as a sailor if you simply want to make your own fun indoors. So there are 3 main areas indoors I want to highlight as areas you can go to if you just want to have a bit of fun during the daytime. The first one is the Social Club. The Social Club is set up as an American diner, but it has the advantage through the daytime of having access to tons and tons of different games and puzzles. You can find all of these games and puzzles in a big leather chest that contains things like board games, card games, trivias, even some really expensive board games with electrical components in there as well. And you're absolutely free to take these at your leisure and play in the Social Club. As long as they're returned back to the chest before it's closed by the end of the day, you're totally fine to use it. And this again is one of those benefits of Virgin Voyages being adult only. You can only imagine on one of those other cruise lines, if they let these board games go to anyone, children would take them away, they would destroy things. But on Virgin Voyages, you're trusted with everything and you can have your own fun without worrying about children spoiling all the fun. Playing these board games and card games in the Social Club is a really good way to meet people. You'll often see people walking up to groups and asking what they're playing and maybe asking to get involved as well. So this is a great way to even up teams if you're looking for more players to join in the fun. Also at the Social Club, ship dependent, there are also some tabletop games like shuffleboard or air hockey or foosball, depending on which ship you're on. As a little bonus here, if you go off to the side to the Loose Cannon, which is the pub style area next to the Social Club, there's also a jukebox there if you simply want to kick back and listen to some music through the daytime as well. The next place I want to take you is just next to the Social Club as well, and that is the arcade. Again, the arcade is very specific to each ship because the arcade machines that they get on board are ship dependent. So it's always worth popping into the arcade to see what options are available. But of course, because this is Virgin Voyages and the price includes everything, the arcade machines are all included as part of your cruise fare. You don't even need to tap your band, you don't need to do anything. You just rock up to the machine, hit start, and start playing the game that you want to play. Although the machines are very ship dependent, there always seems to be some arcade racing game, Space Invaders, and some Mario game as well. Again, these things can change around. If machines break, they might replace them, so do have a look in the arcade and see which options are available there yourself. There's also always a couple of multiplayer games as well, so if you want to pit your skills against another sailor or somebody else that you're sailing with, then those multiplayer games are a great way to test your mettle. And the final indoor space I want to highlight to get some fun through the day is the groupie. These are the private karaoke rooms on board. In the groupie, there are 3 different rooms, each of differing sizes, and the largest room can accommodate up to 10 sailors. So if you like a little sing-song, but you're not ready to get up in front of everyone during events like Karaoke with the Happenings cast, then maybe the groupie is the perfect place for you to shine, because this is a private room. Only you and your friends can hear you sing, and you can also choose silly songs that only you and your friends would actually like. This is a really fun way to enjoy your afternoon. The groupie opens around about 12. It doesn't cost anything, but you do need to put your room number down on a sign-up form to make sure that you reserve the time for your group. So to avoid disappointment, it's probably worth getting there around 12 to make sure your name's on the list. The song selection does seem to vary based on the ship that you're on. Some of the song catalogues are a little bit older than they would be on the other ships. And this is actually something that we noticed with Brilliant Lady when we sailed on her recently, is that the song catalogue in the groupie on Brilliant Lady seems to be a couple of years out of date, so we'll have to keep an eye to see when that'll be updated. Okay, that moves us on to topic number 2, which are the outdoor spaces where you can find fun and activities. So the first place I want to take you to is the Athletic Club, which is on deck 16, right at the back of the ship, or the aft, and Virgin Voyages have designed some fun activities for adults to enjoy when they're sailing on the lady ships. And these namely come in the form of adult-sized playground equipment. So in the Athletic Club, you will see these big oversized swings that you can use and play around with at your leisure. You just need to make sure that you've got your sea legs for this, because if you play around on these too much, you will get a little bit nauseous. There is also an adult-sized seesaw, as well as some other fun playground equipment for you to play around with too. If you make your way to the back of the ship, you'll then see this catamaran-style net, which is right in the middle of the Athletic Club. The net itself is see-through, so if you stand on the top of the net, you can actually look straight down to deck 7, and that is 9 decks below, so it's quite a drop. So standing on the net to get that Instagram pic is not for the faint of heart, but it is a nice activity if you have a spare couple of minutes in your day. As you leave the net and make your way round to the starboard side of the ship, there's also an oversized chessboard that you can play at your own leisure as well. And speaking of playing around and having fun, that will take you also to the sports court. And depending on the day, the sports court might be set up for a particular activity. Quite a lot of the time now, because of the popularity of pickleball, it is set up for pickleball a lot of the time now. But you might also happen along the sports court where nothing is set up at all, in which case you can go in there and use one of the basketballs provided to shoot a few hoops. Or if you get a few friends together, you maybe can have a game of five-a-side if you like as well. Just do be aware that some events are actually hosted inside of the sports court, so you might be moved along if some event needs to take place there. And I'm going to talk about some of those events in just a moment as well. If you need any help with the sports, or you're looking for equipment that you want to use in there, simply ask a member of staff and they'll point you in the right direction. So after all that fun and games, let's talk about topic number 3, which is about relaxing and chilling out. So on these sea days, or these days where you want to spend time on board the ship, sometimes you're not looking for all go and all action. You're simply looking for a place to relax and unwind. Well, actually, the Virgin Voyages ships are perfectly designed for this as well. And there's a couple of places I want to point out if you just want to chill on your sea days. The first place I'm going to point out is only for those that are in the Rockstar suites, and that is Richard's Rooftop. If you're lucky enough to have a black band, you can access Richard's Rooftop, which is a really nice zen area at the very front of the ship. This space offers a great deal of very comfortable seating and places to lounge and relax. There are also 2 bubbly hot tubs as well, and because the space is exclusively just for those with black bands, it's often not overpopulated or over busy, so it's a really nice place to relax if you have access to it. But let's move out of Richard's Rooftop and back to places where everyone can go, because there are a huge amount of places to relax and unwind on board. So let's stay outside just for a moment, and if it's nice weather and it's a lovely weather day and you want to make the most of the sunshine, there are loads of places to do exactly that. So the first place I'll mention is still on deck 16, and that is called the Sun Club. The Sun Club is the sunbathing area, which takes up the majority of deck 16 from midship all the way to forward. There are quite a variety of different seating and lounging options available in the Sun Club, including traditional sun lounges and also these sort of deck chair options as well. This area is catered by 2 different venues, one of which being the Sun Club Bar, which is the bar connected to Gin and Tonic just underneath it, which I'll come on to in just a moment. And then the other one is the Sun Club Cafe, which is actually a great place to get things like bao buns and poke balls all the way through the day. This casual eatery is a little bit of a hidden gem, A lot of people don't know it's there, and actually a lot of people can go an entire voyage without even sampling any of the delicious food here, so make sure you don't miss out. Now let's go down to deck 15 and to the main event, and that is the aquatic club, or the pool area. Now the Virgin Voyages pools do get a lot of stick because they are very small. The executives are fully aware of this and they're trying to do as much as they can to rectify the problem, but there are certain limitations with the current class of ships. But if you've seen our tour or our photos from Brilliant Lady, you'll know that the deep part of the pool has actually been extended somewhat to make sure that there is a little bit more space for swimmers. But other than that, on the surface, the pool will look very much the same size. There is plenty seating and lounging areas around the pool though, which is lovely, especially for those sun worshippers out there. There are also padded beds that encircle the pool if you want to set up shop right next to the pool if you fancy getting in and out as the day progresses. Moving out of the aquatic club and into the well-being pool area, this is another pool on board that is specifically made for just sitting and lounging and relaxing in the pool. And it actually looks a little bit more like a whirlpool. And there are actually whirlpool jets in it as well. The way it's set up means that a huge number of sailors can enjoy the well-being pool all at once because there is a lot of tiled seating available for everyone to sit and enjoy the pool. The well-being pool is also flanked by 2 big hot tubs as well. These hot tubs, however, don't have any bubbles. If you're looking for a bubbly hot tub, you're going to have to look elsewhere. There is also plenty seating around here as well. And this well-being pool is served by the bar called Gym and Tonic. The reason why it's called Gym and Tonic is because the well-being pool is surrounded by windows that are looked into from the gyms on board, which I'll come on to in just a moment. In terms of chilling and relaxing throughout the day, there are a couple of other options available to you as well. If you want to stay outside, then the dock is a really lovely place to do that. The dock is at the very aft of the ship, just above the wake, and it offers really nice and comfortable seating and day beds around there as well. And that is served not only by a bar, but also by a kitchen and grill that serves meze style food. If you want to take a look at any of the food options available at the dock and the dockhouse, then do go on vvinsider.com where we have all the menus there ready for you. If the weather is inclement or you're not feeling like you want to be out in the sun, then there are many places to relax inside as well. If you like the chill atmosphere and tone of the dock, then feel free to move into the dock house, which has a very similar vibe and also the same meze food and menu available to you as well. But this is indoors instead of outdoors. It still offers a huge array of very comfortable seating, as well as those day beds as well if you like to lie down and relax. There are also 2 different bars I want to mention that are really nice to sit at and relax if you simply want to get away from it all, and that is Sip Lounge and On the Rocks. Both of these areas through the day do not play any loud music and offer a variety of seating options as well. So if you simply want to sit and relax, those are great places to do it. The final mention I'm going to give to just chilling on board the ship for free is going to be the roundabout. The roundabout on any of the Virgin Voyages ships is generally a nice relaxed area. It's right next to the pizza place and Lick Me Till I Scream, so if you want ice cream or pizza as you're sitting and relaxing throughout the day, it's a really good place to be. And also if you happen to be on Brilliant Lady, the new roundabout is a really, really lovely place to sit and relax. There are new seating options and the decor is absolutely stunning. But the roundabout on any of the Virgin Voyages ships is a really nice place to just sit and chill. Now for topic number 4, and this is a really good one for those of us that like to have a really long and leisurely lunch, and that is the brunch options available on board. There are 2 options if you want to have a really nice brunch. And something I'll say here is that actually the vibe of your brunch will very much be dependent on which restaurant you choose to enjoy brunch at. Across the Virgin Voyages fleet, you're going to have 2 different options for brunch. No matter which Virgin Voyages ship you decide to sail on, you will always have the option of the Wake, which is the steakhouse on board. And this is a really lovely option for brunch. The Wake is going to offer you a very elegant brunch experience. Not only is the decor and interiors of the Wake very elevated and very upmarket, but actually the service is very elevated as well. You'll see very fine napkins and silverware. You'll have a charger plate in front of you when you sit down. Your coffee cup will have a saucer. It's all very sophisticated and very, very nice. And it doesn't stop there. The options for brunch will also be elevated as well. So you're going to have very fine options like poached shrimp, clam chowder, lovely artisanal eggs Benedict. And also past 12 o'clock, you'll also have options to order filet mignon included as part of your cruise fare. This is probably something you're not going to see on any other cruise line. But even though the wake is very elevated and very upmarket, do not worry, it's not stuffy at all. You can go in there dressed however you like, and you can have a laugh riot if you like in the wake. We've done it before. I will say when we've had the most fun at the wake, we've been part of a large group in a private dining room. So we weren't necessarily disturbing other diners, but the point still stands. It's not too stuffy. It's just a very elevated brunch experience. The other option that you're going to have for brunch will be very dependent on the ship that you're sailing on. And I say that because your other option for brunch is always going to be razzle dazzle. And if you know anything by now about the Virgin Voyages fleet, you'll know that razzle dazzle is where the differences are in the restaurants on board. So right now with Valiant Lady and Resilient Lady, you get the good old-fashioned razzle dazzle, which is generally food that's inspired by American classics, with a contemporary or a vegan or vegetarian edge thrown in, but of course there are options like fried chicken and bacon available as well. But if you're sailing on Scarlet Lady or Brilliant Lady, Razzle Dazzle has been transformed on those ships. With Scarlet Lady, you're going to have Lucky Lotus by Razzle Dazzle, which is an Asian-inspired restaurant, and that carries into brunch as well. You'll have things like wonton soup available for brunch in Lucky Lotus. And if you're sailing on Brilliant Lady, you'll have the option to go to Rojo by Razzle Dazzle for brunch as well. And because Rojo by Razzle Dazzle is Spanish inspired, you're going to see some brunch options inspired by the cuisine of Spain. Now what this always means for brunch is that Razzle Dazzle will be much more of a casual and laid back affair than the wake is. So here you'll have a coffee mug instead of that cup and saucer that you would have at the wake. You also won't have a charger plate. Things are a lot more casual, and really you can choose a different option for brunch depending on the vibes that you're feeling for that particular day. So you just need to ask yourself, do you want that upmarket elegant experience, or do you want that more casual laid back experience for brunch? It's up to you. Wherever you choose to have brunch, it's of course going to be delicious. The food on board Virgin Voyages is second to none. One thing I do want to say about brunch is that there is an option to have a bottomless brunch. This is a really nice option if you're really wanting to extend that day at sea and have a really nice time. What do I mean by bottomless brunch? Well, of course, the food is always included and you can order as much as you like. You'll never have to pay for it. However, if you want to enjoy alcoholic beverages during brunch, generally you can order one at a time as normal. But during brunch, there is an option to do the bottomless option, which gives you the option to order from a limited menu as many drinks as you like to accompany your brunch. The things on the menu are often shared across the two different restaurants, so you'll always have the option to have things like mimosas, sparkling wine, beer, but look out for some specific options that are designed specifically for the restaurant that you're in. Also, the experience and the glassware and stemware you're going to be offered in the different restaurants will be different for bottomless brunch as well. So again, it really just depends on what vibe and which experience you want to create for brunch, but the options on Virgin Voyages for brunch are really fantastic. So it's a really nice way to burn a couple of hours during your big sea day. So now you're done with brunch, let's talk about topic number 5. And this is where that Virgin Voyages spin really comes in, and this is all to do with the free events and entertainment that's available throughout your sea day. So there are tons of happening events that are put on the event lineup throughout the day. And the type of happenings events are really varied. I'm not going to list all of them out here because there are a huge amount and they are dependent on which ship you're sailing in. If you do want to get a proper understanding of what events might be available to you on your sailing, head over to vvinsider.com and select the ship that you're sailing in. From there, you'll see an example event lineup for what will be available on your sailing. Now, this is just an example because we don't have the live data from the ships of what events are available on board, but it will give you a sense for how your sea days may look. And it'll also give you a sense of which events and which happenings events are taking place on each day. You will be able to see your actual event lineup in the Sailor app, but generally this isn't populated correctly until you're basically on board. So don't look at that app and think there's not much happening, because actually there will be tons happening. It just hasn't been programmed into the app just yet, so don't panic. Just to give you a sense of the things that are available for free from the Happenings team and from the gym and fitness teams as well, you're going to have things on the event lineup like the Charmers Lounge, which is a really unique magic show that's put on by the Charmer, who is one of the Happenings cast, the magician in the Happenings cast. And this is generally an hour-long performance of their own unique magic material. And depending on the charmer that you get will very much depend on how that show will go. Some of them have very different styles, some of them are very comedic. It really depends on which charmer you get. So keep an eye on vvinsider.com because we let you know who the Happenings cast are going to be for your particular sailing. So head over to vvinsider.com to check who the charmer is for your sailing if you're interested in magic. Some other things that are going to be on, the artists host things like crafting sessions, so you can make things like friendship bracelets or do a bit of painting. Generally those events are quite dynamic, so check your Sailor app as you get on board. You'll also have the dancers in the Happenings cast running things like fun dance sessions as well. Even if you're not a fitness fanatic, these dance sessions are really fun. They do things like Broadway Boogie, where you're dancing to Broadway songs. That one's really fun. I like that one myself. They do VHS, which you might have heard of as well. So that's a 1980s inspired dance class with sweatbands and shake weights. It's a lot of fun. They're also on Brilliant Lady exploring a new option for VHS, which is set around the 1950s. We haven't seen that one for ourselves just yet, but we've heard it's very good. There's also 90s boy band dance class as well, which does exactly what it says on the tin. And the Balancer hosts things like Hot in Heels, which is a sort of fun burlesque inspired dance class as well. Lots of fun, played for laughs. It's really good fun. I've been along to it myself. And if any of this sounds really horrifying to you, the Happenings cast are really good at helping people get included in these silly activities, and you don't feel silly at all because everyone's doing the same thing and everyone's having great fun. So don't feel afraid, go along to these sessions, they're really good. If you're fully into fitness and wellness, there are also a huge amount of options available there as well. So there's things like bungee classes and spin classes. I've heard really great things about this. I'm not a fitness buff myself, but I have heard some fantastic things about the fitness and wellness classes available on board. And I do promise to myself that I'm going to get along to some of these to see what they're like as well. I'm particularly interested in the bungee class. I've heard great things about that, but it does sell out very quickly. So make sure as soon as you get on board and you log into the Sailor app that you book yourself into those sessions if you want to try them out, because you don't want to be disappointed. There are also the traditional fitness classes that you would expect to see on any ship really, which are things like Zumba and yoga and Pilates. So feel free to go along to them as well. And as ever, because Virgin Voyages gives you so much with your standard cruise fare, all of the things that I've just mentioned are included as part of your fare. You don't pay any extra for them. And in particular, those Happenings cast events that I've mentioned are well worth going along to, because it's always worth getting to know your Happenings cast for every voyage, because they're the ones that are going to show you the best time and also the most fun activities to go along to as well. So make sure you say hello and get to know your Happenings cast when you get on board. And speaking of happenings, let's move on to topic number 6, which to some people might be a bit of a scary topic because some people just don't like spending any extra money when they get on board, and I can totally sympathize with that. But we're going to talk a little bit about paid events and whether they're worth it or not. So this is very subjective, but there are some daytime events that do carry a charge for the ticket. And I'm going to briefly go through a few of those and let you know whether I think they're worth it or whether it might be in personal preference. So generally the paid for happenings events are generally things that include things like specialist food or alcohol. So a few examples of these are things like Lotteria Gigante, which is a millennial bingo, which is set in pink agave. You get some mezcals and tequilas, palomas and margaritas to try out. So actually, if you enjoy tequila and you want a little bit of a drink, the charge for Lotteria is not so bad at all, because you play this game, there's fun with the Happenings cast, you also get the tequila and the cocktails included as well. So actually the cost for this is quite justifiable if you want to have a good drink and a good laugh. Then we have events like Let's Get Choco Lit, which is a chocolate making class, which is set up much like a cooking course where you're told how to make these chocolate confections. And you actually get hands-on with the ingredients and the molten chocolate and make these things yourself. and you get to sample them as well. This particular event comes with a glass of wine, but again, the cost for this event is really dependent on your personal preference. If you like cooking classes and you like to know what goes into making these confections, it might be worth the cost for you, but it's very dependent on your personal preference. So do go in, take a look at the event lineup, take a look at the cost, and decide, is it worth you spending your sailor loot or your actual money to go along to that type of event? We do our best to try and explain all of these different types of happening events on vvinsider.com. We haven't been along to all of them, and the ones that we have been along to, we haven't necessarily had enough time to write up everything that we know about them, but we are getting there. So stay tuned to vvinsider.com, stay tuned to our newsletter as well, and we'll let you know when we've had a chance to talk about the experiences that we've had at these happenings events and whether we think they're worth it or not. Just as a little bit of a teaser, we've had an opportunity to try out some of the new events that are happening on Brilliant Lady. This includes a wine tasting class called Secret Vintage, which I really enjoyed, and also an escape room type event, which I can't wait to tell you about because we did particularly well in this. Our team won. But there is something about the value proposition I want to mention about that. So again, stay tuned to vvinsider.com and we'll let you know our thoughts on that when the time is right. Another couple of notable mentions about paid for things you can do throughout the day are things like the behind the scenes ship tour, which is the only way to guarantee that you can have a visit to the ship's bridge, which is really fascinating. But you also go to a lot of behind the scenes places to see how the Virgin Voyages magic is made. Personally, I've not had a chance to go on this behind the scenes ship tour yet, but I have heard great things about it. But it does carry a fairly hefty price tag, so make sure if you want to do this, you factor in the cost. The costs are available on vvinsider.com if you want to take a look at that. And of course, like any cruise line, you also have the option to spend the day in the spa if you like. The Redemption Spa on board Virgin Voyages is very nice. We have a full breakdown of what's available in the Redemption Spa, including those treatments and massage packages as well. Again, head over to vvinsider.com for a full listing of everything that's available there with the most up-to-date prices as well. So as you can see, if you end up on a voyage that has many sea days, or you're simply visiting ports that you prefer to stay on the ship rather than going out and going on a tender ride or something like that, there is plenty to do on board the Virgin Voyages ships. And really, there is something for everyone. If you sailed with Virgin Voyages in the past and you've got your own tips and tricks for how to enjoy a really good sea day, make sure to pop your ideas in the comments because we'd love to hear them, and also share them on our website if we see ones that we haven't thought of already. Because VV Insider is nothing without our community of sailors letting us know how you voyage and how to get the most out of your Virgin Voyages experience. And if you want to help support the work that we do here at VV Insider, namely getting all of this amazing information out to everyone, then the best way to do that is to make sure you're booking your next Virgin Voyage with VV Insider. There's no better place to book your Virgin Voyage because we not only give you the best price possible, but we also give you some exclusive perks as well, including our Diamond loyalty scheme, which sits on top of the Virgin Voyages loyalty program as well. So you're really missing out unless you're booking your next Virgin Voyage with vvinsider.com. So just head over to vvinsider.com/book and we'll let you know everything you'll need to know about making the most out of your next Virgin Voyage by booking with us and supporting the work that we do. We'd really appreciate it. So I'll be back next Saturday with our regular Virgin Voyages Insider update, so I'll see you then. But until next time, happy sailing.